Abraham Lincoln was not born into power. He was born into poverty, raised on the American frontier, and educated almost entirely by himself. Yet, when the United States faced its greatest crisis, it was Lincoln who guided the nation through civil war and redefined the meaning of freedom. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in a log cabin in Kentucky. His family struggled financially, and formal education was rare on the frontier. Lincoln attended school for less than 1 year in total, but he taught himself by reading books whenever he could find them. As a young man, he worked as a laborer, store clerk, and surveyor before becoming a lawyer in Illinois. His ability to reason clearly and speak persuasively quickly set him apart. Lincoln believed deeply in the rule of law, personal responsibility, and the ideal that all people should have a fair chance in life. Lincoln entered politics in the 1830s and served in the Illinois state legislature. He later won a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives, although he opposed slavery. Lincoln initially focused on preventing its expansion rather than calling for its immediate abolition. In 1858, Lincoln gained national attention during a series of debates with Senator Stephen Douglas. These debates centered on whether slavery should be allowed to expand into new territories. Lincoln argued that the nation could not remain permanently divided between free states and slave states. Although he lost that Senate race, the debates made him a national figure. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected the 16th President of the United States. His victory triggered a political crisis. Southern states, fearing the end of slavery, began to secede from the Union. Before Lincoln even took office, 7 Southern states had already left the country. When Confederate forces fired on Fort Sumter in April 1861, the American Civil War began. The Civil War was the deadliest conflict in American history. Lincoln's primary goal was to preserve the Union. He faced enormous pressure, military setbacks, and political opposition from both sides. In 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that enslaved people in Confederate-held territory were free. This decision transformed the war into a fight not only to save the Union, but also to end slavery. Lincoln's leadership was marked by persistence and moral clarity. In his famous Gettysburg Address, he spoke of a nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the principle that all people are created equal. As the war neared its end, Lincoln pushed for the 13th Amendment, which permanently abolished slavery throughout the United States. The amendment passed Congress in early 1865, just days after the war ended. On April 14, 1865, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated while attending a play at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. His death shocked the nation. Abraham Lincoln did not live to see the country fully heal, but his leadership preserved the Union, ended slavery, and strengthened American democracy. Today, Lincoln is remembered not for perfection, but for moral courage. He led during America's darkest hour and proved that democracy could survive even its greatest test.